Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
In the first section, we went through some historical trends of English language learning. Now, here in the second section, we will learn and get more idea about latest and current trends of English language teaching. To develop e-content and to make teaching learning process more student centric and professional, a teacher can use various type of websites, application and e-learning software. Here in this module, instructor has covered various teaching methodology that has been considered as various recent trends of ELT like blended learning, flip learning, MOOC, which is known as Massive Open Online Course, Gamification, Embodied Learning, MAL, that means Mobile Assisted Language Learning, CALL, that is Computer Assisted Language Learning, TAD Education, Google Classroom, Google Forms and Survey, Monkey.com, applications based on English language teaching and learning tools, trends based on English language learning and sitcoms, English language teaching with technology, Web 2.0 tools, websites based trends and English language teaching. So, the researcher has covered more than 15 recent trends of English language teaching as well as learning. Now, first we get information about blended learning, how it works, its key features, definition, meaning, objectives of blended learning, advantages and limitations, and what type of techniques a teacher can apply when he or she would like to use blended learning in their classroom. Nowadays, I am very happy to share that many English language teachers have started to use blended learning as current trend in their classroom. This method combines the online digital media with traditional classroom. To make this type of method more successful, it requires the physical presence of both teacher and student, with some elements of student control over time, place, path or pace. Now, I would like to focus more on why blended learning, means the objectives of blended learning. First, blended learning is very useful to cater unique needs of learners than a traditional classroom teaching experience, to extend the reach to those who could not attend at specific time. Another objective of blended learning is to optimize content development cost and time, or to promote students' empowerment, which means that students actively engage with materials, as blended learning combines two things together. Another objective of blended learning is to convey instructional material. Blended learning is one of the best tools. So, these are the prime or main objectives of blended learning. Many researchers and educators have provided various definitions of blended learning. So, Driscoll, writer, said that there is no fixed definition of blended learning. However, simple definition of blended learning one may consider as a starting point for a further discussion is the thoughtful integration of classroom face-to-face learning experience with online experiences. Taken together, these definitions emphasize the strength and effectiveness of combining two different forms of learning. These definitions are broad and not strongly related to language learning. This is the only objective to give all the various definitions of blended learning, because all these are not related to English language learning. So, another definition by Leakey may be more appropriate in the context of this discussion. They define blended learning in CALL, that means computer assisted language learning, as the adoption in local context of previous call and non-call, that means previous computer assisted language learning and non-computer assisted language learning. Pedagogies into an integrated program of language teaching and learning drawing on different mixes of media and delivery to produce an optimum mix that addresses the unique needs and demands of that context. Friends, after having in detail idea about various definitions by subject experts of blended learning, we can say that blended learning involves combining an online call application such as text manipulation with face-to-face instruction. Here, I would like to talk about certain key features of blended learning. There are certain key features of blended learning. A teacher should keep in mind before applying it in your classroom. First, before you want to apply a blended learning as a recent trends in ELT, a teacher should have wide knowledge of information communication technology tools. Second, plan language learning outcome. Another, ready with well-defined course outline. If you want to apply blended learning in your classroom, you have to ready with the well-defined course outline, time, and when you would like to perform which kind of activity in the classroom. Another thing that teachers should keep in mind before applying blended learning in the classroom is organize online test methods and modes. So, if you would like to take student test or quiz or any kind of a form that you want that student fill online, that you have to plan in advance. Besides, blended learning has its advantages and limitations. Now, for those teachers who have not ever tried blended learning while teaching English, they can apply following methods and be innovative, make the classroom interactive, engaging and organized. Techniques to apply blended learning while teaching are: you can take online test, online course and audio video project. Here I mean to say that online test, the prose, poetry or a report you are teaching in the classroom, instead of taking the physical test, prepare that questions online and ask student to complete the test online. Even you can record the lecture and publish it on a Google or a YouTube and ask students to learn from there also. Audio video project. Many teachers give their students to record their project and give presentation. So while doing, instead of taking viva in the classroom, you can ask students to record their presentation and submit through CD or any other mode. Blended learning, you can apply another method, that is team teaching also. Or in the blended learning, what teacher can do? Teacher can synchronize physical format. So there are many different techniques, many activities that teacher can cover while using blended learning in their classroom. These are just examples. Now, another latest trend of English language learning is flipped learning. An emerging trend in language learning is flipped learning, as it is noted that flipped learning is a methodology that helps teacher to give priority to active learning during the classroom teaching by assigning students content material and presentation to be viewed at home or outside of the class. So, in a flipped class or in a flipped learning method, while sharing the audio video, students can learn in the classroom as well as outside the classroom. Additionally, while using this method, teacher explains fundamental or a theory of the topic to learners via video or audio form. The interesting thing is that pupil can watch the theory before they enter in the real classroom. Thus, students get liberty to learn, relearn the content at any time, any place. There are certain objectives of flipped learning, and they are: so, all these are the objectives of flipped learning. Now, moving ahead, Hamdan and McKnight has developed 4 basic pillars that flipped learning must accomplish, and every teacher should understand all these pillars before applying flipped learning in their classroom. First, flexible environment. Second pillar is learning culture. Third pillar of flipped learning is intentional content. Teachers. Fourth and the last pillar of the flipped learning is professional educators. Now it is time to learn key features that flipped learning a teacher should keep in mind before applying it in their classroom. First, select the topic or content that you want to design as a flipped course component. So, as being a teacher, your first responsibility is that you have to decide the content that you would like to teach your student with the help of flipped learning. Second, decide course objective and activity in advance. What type of activities you would like to perform in your classroom, that have to plan in advance. Some brainstorm ideas for what that the topic concept you would like to as a flipped learning activity. Another that you have to keep in mind is that plan the face-to-face active learning activities that align to your online lecture content. So before, when you are going to upload certain videos and that you are going to discuss in your classroom, so plan in a certain way that before students enter in the classroom, you share them, and next day you discuss all the content whether the student understand it properly or not in the next classroom. Yes, like blended learning, flipped learning also has certain advantages and limitation. Let's look at the techniques to apply in flipped learning while teaching in the classroom. What type of activities? First, you can give project based learning, game based learning, ask student for peer instructions, group quiz, discussions or a debate, virtual flipped classroom. So these type of activities that you can apply in your classroom. Now, maybe you have a question. What is the difference between blended learning and flipped learning? A very simple answer is blended learning is a concept which include different style of blended learning, and one of the style is flipped learning. These two tools I discuss with you is flipped learning and blended learning. Now another latest trend of language learning is MOOC, which is very popular nowadays. The full form of MOOC is Massive Open Online Course. According to Oxford Dictionary Online, the definition of a MOOC is a course of study made available over the internet without charge to a very large number of people, and anyone who can access it from any corner of the world. Those who decides to take a course on a MOOC, they simply logs on the website and sign up. To teach or make aware students about MOOC is very easy and not require additional preparation. Teacher show the path to log in and any MOOC and explain the importance and its function and solve the query and doubts regarding the selection of a course. Or you can say that create discussion forum, sharing web links, online chat, quiz on specific module. This is the way you can discuss the students' doubt, or this kind of a techniques you can apply if you want to give students guidance about the MOOC. Let me talk about the core objectives of a MOOC. Now, as we went through advantages and limitation of a blended learning and flipped learning, here is the list of some advantages of MOOC courses as well as the limitation. Now, as a teacher, you have a question that what type of a technique you can apply on a MOOC while applying in your classroom. First, guide students to select the topic or a course. You can help them to take update regarding the various course assignment and suggest some content course which are available on a MOOC and ask them to judge your knowledge. What type of things MOOC course includes? Introduction and outline of the course, 3 to 6 video of lectures based on the content, discussion forum where participants are encouraged to discuss, a set of assignment which participants required to submit, assignment grading. This many things are included in the course. Maybe you have a question that what are the other name of the MOOCs? Just as one is EPG Pathshala and second is the SWAYAM. So up till now we have discussed 3 latest trends of English language learning: flipped learning, blended learning and MOOCs. Now it is time to talk about gamification. Many scholars have defined the term gamification. Moreover, as per the Wikipedia, gamification as the use of game thinking and game machines in non-game context to engage users in solving problems. This is new trends and many educators have started to apply this trend in their English language classroom. But only few teachers are using it on a regular basis. To simplify the meaning of gamification, one can describe that the process of applying game-related principle, especially to those relating to users' experience and engagement to non-game context such as education. Now, maybe you have a question that what is the connection of a gamification with an English language teaching? So, here is the answer. Role of a gamification in education or in English language teaching. In education or in English language learning, describe gameful thinking, motivation design to make learning interesting, and engagement design. This young generation has been spending hours and hours to play games. And to solve this problem, researchers and educators have been exploring the ways to connect the power of games. The main elements of gamifications are: it is very narrative, to get feedback is very quick, create social connection, and has player control over it. All in all, a classroom that contains some or all of these elements can be considered as a gamified classroom. So, are you ready to make your classroom as a gamified classroom? If so, you can apply certain features in the classroom and keep this thing in your mind before applying it in your classroom. Modern learners are technology savvy and use technology platforms that provide finite terms of experience. Besides, there are several advantages and few limitations of using gamification as a e-learning trends. There are plenty techniques to introduce gamification in English language teaching classroom. Here, instructor is providing just a few ideas. It will spark discussion on gamifying education so that while applying in the classroom, teacher can discuss the topic more thoroughly and provide examples. Integrate educational video games into the curriculum to use gamification in the classroom. Gamify homework to encourage informal learning. Award students and give them a certificate. You can create a small digital classroom management system that helps students to play different type of roles. For beginners, more learners are encouraged to try to tell a technology aided platform. Another techniques that you can try is design learning as well as gamification element. Here there are some educators who resist gamification in education, often cite its improper use of rewards as motivator. Critics argue that relying on games can be detrimental to fundamental motivation. Additionally, receiving a badge for a job well done is meaningless without an understanding of what specific skill this badge rewards. Yes, gamification is one of the recent trends in ELT. Games can't be used to replace another trends but can be used to enhance the overall learning experience. Up till the now we have covered 4 methods or 4 trends of English language learning. Now the 5th trend is embodied learning. In the present Google age, embodied learning has gained much more appreciation for its unique approach in helping students. Many educators and researchers have opined that this is one of the most effective techniques that involve physical involvements and interactivity. This is modern trend which is easily integrates human and computer interaction. Embodied learning not only improves students' interest in language learning but engage learners in the most appealing way. On the contrary, there are teachers who find it really difficult to bring in the English language learning classroom. Another recent trend of English language teaching is MAL, which means Mobile Assisted Language Learning. Here, Mobile Assisted Language Learning describes definition of it: ability to learn anywhere, at any time, without permanent physical connection to cable to network. In this respect, mobile learning refers to the use of mobile devices as educational tool to access learning material at any time and anywhere. There are many objectives to apply mobile assisted language learning in the classroom. When a teacher is using MAL as a teaching methodology in the classroom, that make comfortable environment for EFL student and teacher to use their electronic gadgets. Another objective to explore their readiness to adopt new trend like MAL in the field of education. To support e-learning features in general and enhancing language teaching and learning. As we have discussed different trends of English language teaching, where we found advantages and limitation of all recent trends. Similarly, now we will look what advantages and limitation of MAL. So, up till now we have discussed various 6 recent trends. Now, in this section, another method, that is CALL, which is very famous and ELT teachers are using in their classroom. It is known as Computer Assisted Language Learning. Computer Assisted Language Learning is another manifestation of computer mediated language learning. CALL is defined as the search for and study of applications of computer in language teaching and learning. The main objective of using CALL is to find ways for using computer for the purpose of teaching and learning language. Now it's time to focus on key features of CALL. First, get the knowledge in advance regarding tools that you would like to use in your classroom. Another thing, as I discussed with you in a flipped class or in a blended learning, that organize a test and quiz in advance that can help you to deliver in the next day in your classroom. Again, this is in a time we discuss about the advantages and limitation of computer assisted language learning. Before I finish my talk about call, I would like to discuss with you techniques and types of a call a teacher can use in the classroom.